What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me going over the stats in Grand Cross and explaining every single stat that you need to know about so that you understand what every single stat gives and why they might be worth, investing into for specific characters. We'll talk about it in this video. Let's hop in. Before we actually hop into the video, though, make sure to subscribe to your boy Amazing. We are on the road to 35k subscribers. Guys, we're at the 32,500 subscriber mark. If you guys have not hit the subscribe button already, definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button. And with that out of the way, let's hop in and discuss the stats in Grand Cross. Alright, guys, so stats in Grand Cross, there are so many, and it's hard for people to grasp like what every single stat is, doing. And in this video, I'm going to be basically explaining it. So we have from combat class all the way to lifesteal, we have a bunch of different stats here that we can kind of talk about and see which ones are important and, explain the purpose of each. So first things first, combat class. Actually, no, I'll go over combat class last because that's like, it's one of those, where it's like all encompassing, so it's like everything combined basically. But attack is just gonna be your straight up damage dealt. So the higher your attack, the more damage you're gonna deal, and you guys get it. It's fairly straightforward. Defense is gonna be how tanky your character is from taking the hits itself, so the damage reduction from the hits basically. So the higher the defense, the less damage you take from hits, right? And then your HP is gonna be the amount of damage you can take on your character. So HP is going to be a lot higher than your defense and attack because your character is going to be eating a lot more damage because of the HP being higher, and so that's the way it's going to be. Those are the three basic stats, so you have to understand these are the basic stats, right? If we click this little like arrow down from your character here, you guys are going to see the substats. So we have pierce rate, resistance, regeneration rate, crit chance, crit damage, crit resistance, crit defense, recovery rate, and lifesteal. A lot of things there that you guys probably don't know about. First things first, pierce rate is going to be kind of like another version of attack, except it's going to be like a sub attack basically. So basically the way pierce rate works is it's just extra damage dealt and kind of like shreds defense in a sense. So the higher pierce rate you have, the more damage you're just going to deal on the enemy, and it kind of coincides with the attack. So like the higher the attack, the higher the pierce rate, the more damage you deal regardless. So it's just, think of it as just like a res shred where you do extra damage for more pierce rate. So think of this as just straight up a damage increase, right? Resistance is going to be the complete opposite, and it kind of counteracts with the pierce rate, right? So it's basically how attack counteracts defense, like defense counteracts attack, right? Pierce rate is going to be counteracted by resistance because resistance does the opposite. The higher the resistance, the less damage you do from having higher pierce rate basically. So it kind of counteracts each other. You have resistance fighting off the pierce rate, attack fighting off the defense. This is going to be a running trend that we're going to see here with a lot of the effects in Grand Cross. So moving on, we have I'll skip regeneration rate. We'll talk about it when we get to the recovery rate part, but we have crit chance. So crit chance is actually going to be the odds of you critting the enemy, right? So crit chance is going to be the odds of you critting the enemy in terms of you dealing damage with the crits. So Meliodas has a 116% chance to crit, but if we actually look at Meliodas' crit resistance, this is going to be the counter stat for crit chance. So if let's say the opposing enemy had 104% crit resistance and my Meliodas has 116% crit chance, you would have to subtract both these numbers, and whatever number you would have left would be Meli's crit chance against an opposing Meli, as an example, right? So that's basically how that works. And then crit damage is going to be just your damage when you crit, and then crit defense is going to be how well you tank against crits when you take a crit. So just like how pierce rate counteracts or resistance counteracts pierce rate, crit resistance counteracts crit chance, crit defense counteracts crit damage. Right, so now that we're actually on the recovery rate and regeneration rate, these two are very, very confusing because they're very similar, right? Recovery rate, regeneration rate. We're going to talk about it though. So regeneration rate is going to be your start of turn healing. So the higher the number you have for your regeneration rate, it's going to be the higher you do, higher the amount of heal you get from start of turn healing, right? Recovery rate here is going to be, the higher the recovery rate, the better heals you get off of healing skills. So whenever someone uses a healing skill to heal your character, the higher the recovery rate, the higher the chance of you getting an increased heal you'll get. basically, right? So that's going to be the two stats right there. So start of turn healing or regeneration rate. Recovery rate is going to be healing rate when you get when a skill is used that heals your character. And then for the final one right here, lifesteal is very straightforward. Whenever you deal damage to the enemy, it converts that damage into healing for the character. So the higher the damage you deal and the higher the lifesteal you have, the more HP you will recover when actually dealing damage. So that is a rundown of every single stat. Now let's talk about combat class. Now that we've gone over every single stat, combat class is all of these stats, right? Attack, defense, HP, all the substats combined, and it gives you a number that shows how much like combat class you have. It's just an average of like all your stats combined, including your outfits, you know, increasing your defense, your attack, HP, right? All of them increasing the substats, your gear, obviously going into, you know, combat class as well, which, you know, it's part of it, right? It's part of these stats already. So this is going to be how combat class is determined. It's based on all your stats, not like combined together as like you add them up and then you get the combat class. It's more of just like an average number for how strong your character is based on the stats that they have. Right, so that's pretty much a rundown of stats right there, guys. We can look at other characters though to kind of see the difference in terms of, you know, stats and the way it works. So like that's just Purgatory Melee right there. If you go to like, just an example, let's go to like Dana for Liz here. Let's see her combat class, right? So you can see that a lot of her stats here compared to Purgatory Meliodas are a lot lower, right? Like 53% crit chance, the regeneration rate's low, resistance is low, lifesteal super low, and look, it makes sense. Her attack, defense, and HP is not the highest, right? 10k attack, 5k defense, 91k HP. What gear do I have? Just an attack crit set, right? Not even leveled. So you guys can see that combat class is basically an amalgamation of all the stats you have, right? It just covers all your stats. And so that is pretty much the basis of how to, or just like, you know, what the understanding is of every single stat, guys. So it is very helpful to know these things, because a lot of people just, whenever they play Grand Cross, they're just like, oh, you know, should I run like Pierce rate rolls then on my character just to get extra damage? Like, I don't think it's a case where it's like, you know, seeing how valuable a stat is, you'd rather go with the base stat always, right? When we talk about like, you know, which stats are the most important, we'll talk about this. So the attack, defense, HP are the most important 3 stats first, and then from there it's probably going to be lifesteal, which is very, very important. Crit chance, crit damage is very important, and pierce rate is very important. The tanky stuff like resistance can be good on select characters like Valenti and stuff, obviously, right? And Brawler Bond, but there's not really going to be other times you're running like crit defense gear. You are running like crit resistance gear, let's say, and like, you know, demonic beast battle on like Suwon Hadi and stuff. So there are situations where you might want to build roles for the substats, but 99% of the time, guys, you're going for the basic stats because they give you the most stats towards your combat class first off, and they also give you the most benefit compared to having like resistance rolls, let's say, on the middle pieces versus like defense. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it in terms of stats, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that was very like comprehensive, so at least you understand what every single stat does now. And it's good to know, because you never know, man. Whenever you're just playing Grand Cross and you're like, oh, okay, I have like that much crit chance, that much crit damage, that much pierce rate, like I'm gonna be hitting super hard. So you get the idea though. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.